watch a hornets dance. Snap back cats at rallies, ready. Spirits never lack. Thoughts and pride with style in the swag sack. In the quad, we ain't never gonna stop. In the quad, we always on top. In the quad, feel the music drop. In the quad, roots run deep.
It is Monday. It is Monday, February 3rd. Y'all, we in Black History Month. We in we got a lot going on. It's been a lot that's happened already this weekend, right? Which makes you be like, y'all, we really in Black History Month. It's killing me. But it is Monday, February 3rd, and you are locked into a brand new episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. I am your gracious host, Nick Eden, and we are back with another phenomenal show. Before we get started, let's go ahead and get this out of the way first. We always want to thank those who make it possible for us to do the things that we do. So I'd like to take a quick second just to thank our sponsor of the show today, School.com.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With School, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with School.
All right, y'all. That was a quick word from our sponsor, School.com. So I appreciate everybody for taking just a second. Welcome. I hope y'all had a phenomenal weekend. It's a lot that's going on in the HBCU landscape over the last couple of days. And if this is your first time tuning in the Quad with Nick Eden, this is a show where we capture all of the HBCU trending topics across the entire HBCU landscape. You'll have to forgive me, my glasses are they glaring today, so I don't know what's going on here. But that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter/X, Fanbase, Snapchat, IG, Biz, you name it, we're talking about it. And we condense it down to two main parts of the show. The first part of the show is our four main topics. Those are the four trending topics within the last 24 to 48 hours that have trended across the entire HBCU landscape. The second part of the show, which is my absolute favorite, is our fan topics. This is the portion of the show where you, the viewer, gets to express your opinion, ask your questions, and if you want to get your topics on the fan topics, it's really simple. Just head on over to my socials, at Nick Eden on Twitter, at Nick Eden on Fanbase, at Nick Eden on IG. Click the link tree in the bio, and we will read your comments. All right. That's if you pass the test. Some of y'all tests ain't testing. I ain't gonna hold you. Y'all got a lot going on. Let's start off with a bang, y'all. And that is the Honda Battle of the Bands. All right, y'all. It was a crazy weekend. Look, I've been getting texts and DMs and tweets and everything from folks that were in Cali for Honda all weekend. This comes to us from Yahoo Finance, ironically. Honda Battle of the Bands rocks SoFi Stadium with epic West Coast debut. The Honda Battle of the Bands, the nation's premier showcase for historically Black colleges and university marching bands, marked a milestone this weekend with its first ever West Coast appearance at SoFi Stadium on February 1st, drawing tens of thousands of fans, students, and alumni to celebrate the rich culture and traditions of HBCUs. Attendees were thrilled by the dynamic performances from 6 HBCU marching bands and dance teams during the Invitational Showcase, now celebrating its 19th year. For the first time ever, this year's Honda Battle of the Bands brought the incredible talent, passion, and culture of HBCUs to the West Coast. Jasmine Cockfield, Honda Battle of the Bands project lead and American Honda Motor Company, Inc., lead at American Honda Motor Company, Inc. Honda is proud to celebrate these exceptional students and institutions, and we look forward to further driving the legacy of HBCUs through our ongoing support of the HBCU community. The event's theme, Driving the Legacy of HBCUs, honors the heritage of HBCUs and their critical role in fostering higher education and opportunities for advancement within the Black community. So, for those of you who don't know, some of the participating bands, Alabama A&M, the marching maroon and white, Alabama State University, the Mighty Marching Hornets, Hampton University, the Marching Force, North Carolina A&T, the Blue and Gold Marching Machine, Southern University's Human Jukebox, and the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Marching Musical Machine of the Mid-South. Capping off the showcase, Grammy-nominated hip-hop star Glorilla brought the house down with a high-energy performance that had the audience on its feet. And here's the crazy part, like just a couple quick highlights from it. Nick Cannon, as we know, hosted the inaugural West Coast Showcase. The participating bands were awarded $50,000 grants from Honda for music education and career development. Y'all, listen, I've been getting messages about this all weekend. Seriously, everybody has hit me up. I got a bunch of folks on the West Coast. We have a very large chapter of Alabama State Alumni Association based in LA. Y'all, they were with it. They were on it. They were not playing with y'all. It was something serious, y'all. I've gotten people saying, "Hey, is it coming back the next year?" From all accounts, from everything I've heard, yes, they're coming back. They're saying Glorilla was like, Glorilla. That's my little hood baby right there. I love Glorilla. But Glorilla was, she was there. She was with the people. She was absolutely loving what was going on. She's been a huge part of HBCU culture the last few years. I think she's performed at 7 homecomings in like the last 3.5 years, right? So shout out to Glorilla on that. Y'all, it's just, and I can remember some people saying it's not gonna work on the West Coast. It's not gonna work on the West Coast. There were so many first-time people there. I was talking to one of my boys from state last night. He ran into a young lady, pretty much lived her entire life on the West Coast. He's from LA. She pretty much lived her entire life on the West Coast, and she was like, I didn't think that this stuff was real, right? And I think for us, we're a little bit spoiled, right? We get to, we like, oh, the band ain't coming. It ain't a battle in the stands. Some of these folks do not see this stuff. They just don't. So for it to be a situation where they get to see this go on at a high level, it lets you know, man, that, bro, this is something that I think can completely serve as a heavy recruiting tool for HBCUs on the West Coast. This is another reason why I'm excited. I talked about this last week. This is why I think that the Jackson State Grambling game in Vegas is going to be off the chain, whether we're going or not. People on the West Coast are just not exposed to that like this. And like, even when I told my boy, he was like, oh no, we're literally on the phone. I'm like, yeah, so Jackson State's gonna be going against Grambling in Vegas. He's like, man, dude, my mom lives in Vegas. Ma, they're gonna be here. What's the date? October 20. Okay, cool. They're already putting these plans together. And I think sometimes we have to take ourselves out of it, as somehow alums are the only ones who will and are supposed to support these games, these battles, the whole nine. So I'm, shout out to them. It looks like they'll probably be back out on the West Coast again next year. And I was told just top to bottom, it was a phenomenal production. And I think the Honda may have found its new home. Now, from my understanding, they were only allowed, Honda was only paying for 180 members per band. And anything over that was about $1,100 per member. Some people scaled it down. Some people were like, look, it's worth it. Whatever you think, I'm telling you, this was amazing. This is the most excitement I've seen about the Hondas since back in the day when we used to go all the time when it was in Atlanta. So I can't stress enough how absolutely proud and happy I am. I would implore the people, the good folks at ESPN Band of the Year, to see how they pulled that off. I'm just saying, you want to enter this market, you want to enter, because they said tens of thousands. It was 60,000 people there. It was 60,000 people at SoFi Stadium for the Honda Battle of the Bands. You want to enter this space? You're already in an ideal location. And I'm not going to go into a whole thing about the ESPN Band of the Year, But what I will say is, if you're trying to attract people, the way that the people who have been in this space have been doing it for years, you might want to work with them, reach out to them, contract with them, have them consult you, something, because what they're doing is working. But that's neither here nor there. Y'all, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, flag football at HBCUs, NASCAR at HBCUs. What we oh yeah, and the Southern Heritage Classic. We're going to break that down. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gift.
We had to get you something.
Thank you, honey.
I got you this.
Did you do this yourself?
Yeah, I had a great teacher.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
This is from me
Oh.
to you.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18. When you switch to TurboTax, do it
So I
yourself.
trust everyone's read the prospectus. Lance? Why don't you take us through it?
Let's get into the prospectus.
Okay.
14 minutes after the hour, you are locked into a brand new episode of In the Quad with Nick Eden. Y'all, let's head on over to the wonderful state of North Carolina. I'm not going to take my shirt off, twist around my head now. We ain't doing all that. We ain't doing all that. But let's head on over to North Carolina. All right, y'all. This is coming to us from HBCU Game Day, Winston-Salem. Hey, listen. NASCAR relationship with HBCU on full display at the Clash. NASCAR opened its 2025 season in historic fashion at the Bowman Gray Stadium, home to Winston-Salem State University football and located just across the street from the HBCU's campus. The race not only marked NASCAR's return to the quarter-mile track after more than 5 decades, but also celebrated the growing partnership with Winston-Salem State and the HBCU community. The event featured a pre-race performance by WSSU's renowned Red Sea of Sound marching band, electrifying the sold-out crowd before the green flag dropped. NASCAR has increasingly embraced HBCU culture, and its collaboration further highlighted a connection between the sport and historically Black colleges and universities. Pole winner Chase Elliott delivered a masterful performance, leading 171 of the 200 laps to secure his first Cookout Clash victory. As Elliott maneuvered through lap traffic in the final stretch, Ryan Blaney mounted the charge, but ultimately fell short, finishing second. The night was filled with excitement, not only on the track, but in the stands, including the performance of the Winston-Salem State Red Sea of Sound. This environment is special, Elliott said post-race. This is a place that has a deep history in NASCAR. I think they deserve this event, truthfully. With NASCAR and WSSU deepening their relationship, this season opening event symbolized the sport's ongoing efforts to engage with HBCU culture, ensuring the legacy of racing at Bowman Gray Stadium continues for generations to come. Listen, hey, let me tell you something. I used to, I had a marketing agency. I started it back in 2013. And one of my biggest clients, as a matter of fact, my biggest client, one of their biggest events for the year that we did experiential marketing for was NASCAR. And bro, let me tell you something. That's different. Like, Listen, NASCAR is different. And in fairness, traditionally, NASCAR has not really included us. You know what I mean? Like I remember very clearly us being the only pepper in a sea of salt. But it's an experience within itself. I've experienced that also work with Harley Davidson, so I've seen that. But I mean, if you remember, it was just a few years ago. The whole debacle that started this ongoing case between Urban Edge Network and the SWAC was based around the partnerships between Grambling and Urban Edge, as well as Peak Sports and Peak Sports, FAMU, and Urban Edge. That led to the Grambling NASCAR, the branded NASCAR that we've seen. We saw the perspectives for the FAMU NASCAR. So and that part of it didn't necessarily, unfortunately, it didn't work out. But there is a shared history with NASCAR. I It's loud. I don't know how the bands were able to perform because if you've been there, it's like I have to put the headphones on, right? Because it's so loud when those cars are like it's loud on a level that you just gotta be built for that, and they are built for it. But NASCAR is a great experience, and I'm glad that they had the opportunity. I probably didn't, but it is what it is. I'm glad they had the opportunity to expand this partnership with the quarter mile, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Right, I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. I want to see more HBCUs get involved with it, and NASCAR seems like they are really dedicated to doing this. And I actually got a nice little business idea that I'm gonna have to throw up in that piece because I know for a fact that the higher ups at NASCAR were interested in this some years ago, just couldn't pull it off at the time. And now my wheels are spinning. Put it this way: if in 2 years y'all don't see in the quad or in the quad it says in the quad with somebody else, like I'm telling you now, the idea hit, and I'm sitting in the press box somewhere. Just letting you know, you might turn this joint on and this say in the quad with lip hooks, or baby, and I will pay handsomely. But what I'm saying is, yeah, it was, but yeah, we need those partnerships like that, y'all. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. We need those partnerships like that. It's a way we expand. I've been called a black redneck before because there are things that I'm just into that traditionally black folks are not into. But I think as we expand those horizons and we expand into those places, like you look at black folks coming out of Kentucky, the Kentucky Speedway. Think of a quarter mile race at Kentucky State, right? I've been to Kentucky Speedway for several years. I've done the Kentucky Speedway. This brings in millions upon millions of dollars, and you're not going to do a quarter race in Sparta, but you can do it at Kentucky State, right? And they're a part of that culture. They are a part of that culture, and they're also a part of HBCU culture. So I'm loving the idea of the partnerships and how they continue to expand and grow. So yeah, shout out to Winston-Salem State. Winston-Salem, the Rams, that is my CIAA team. I love the Rams. I first started getting into watching Winston-Salem State. I didn't realize how storied Winston-Salem State was to just like being part of the Big Three in North Carolina with A&T and Central. But yeah, like that's my CIAA team. I'm looking for them to make some noise in the fall. So I'm glad to see partnerships like this. And speaking of partnerships, let's just get right into our next partnership because this is another one. I was extremely proud of this. The NFL continues partnership with HBCUs and the rapid growth of flag football. And this comes to us from Newsweek. Listen, it's no secret that the sport of flag football is gaining plenty of popularity in the world. The NFL chose to change up the format of the Pro Bowl, including a 7-on-7 flag football tournament between the NFC and the AFC, which has been well received. The sport itself has grown to the point where it can now be included in the Olympics in 2028. And though there has been drama on the spot regarding the professional athletes who play in the sport and NFL players wanting to play in the Olympics, the sport itself continues to gain traction. During the Pro Bowl games 2025, the NFL and NFL Flag held its first ever HBCU flag football tournament at the event. Multiple teams from across the country provided 250 athletes to play in the tournament. First off, shout out to them for pulling that out the way. My goodness. Shout out to them for that. The tournament was held in partnership with the NFL Flag, and Toyota. Deidre DeLilly, Vice President, Marketing Communications at Toyota, had this to say about the tournament. Toyota's partnerships with the NFL and NFL Flag are rooted in advancing football for all and lifting up the next generation of superstars. Toyota has been a long-standing supporter of HBCUs, and the NFL Flag HBCU tournament presented by Toyota is an extension of that sport. Listen, HBCUs are playing a critical role in elevating flag football to the next level. The expansion of flag football within HBCUs is a testament to the sport's rapid growth and its potential to shape collegiate athletics. Thanks to initiatives led by RCX Sports and NFL in collaborations with conferences like the CIAA, flag football has seen impressive growth across HBCUs. By fostering competitive programs and increasing participation, HBCUs are helping to build a strong case for NCAA sanctioning. I want y'all to go and check out the rest of the article because it is long. It's long, and I'm not just going to sit here and just sit up here and read out the whole thing. But I will say, because in addition to that, I got a chance to see some of the footage from Alabama State's women's flag football team this weekend. Hey, listen, it was great to see. I want to say it was Huntington that we were up against. But you just gotta look. And I wish I could have just got the footage. When we start putting ourselves in position, and I love traditional football. Don't get me wrong. I love basketball. And yes, they are revenue sports. That is true. However, when we start to make an investment into our other sports and start to expand on them, we shall see that, listen, on the other side of it, it's like I got people say all the time, they're like, I don't understand how Alabama State keeps winning the Commissioner's Cup. I do. Because springtime is sting time. Like, yeah, football is great. Football is great. Basketball is great. You know what else is great? Softball, baseball, bowling, track and field, cross country, flag football, volleyball. Like, y'all I think sometimes, especially because most of us are in the South, we get so football heavy, we don't think that anything else matters. Like, I would dare say anybody that's watching right now, earshot of this, if they are a fan of Alabama, they're a fan of the Crimson Tide, I'm willing to bet that the average non-alumni fan of the Crimson Tide cannot tell you the championship history of basketball, baseball, softball, golf, tennis, or any of the other sports. They can only tell you the Tide football. That's it. But what I will say, that game that we played this weekend, the stadium was packed. Now, they didn't play at ASU Stadium. It was at a small stadium. It was packed. When Alabama A&M plays basketball, it's packed. The SWAC softball tournament was packed. We just got to start talking about it more so that we can move into larger venues, so we can draw more money and get them to the point where they can become revenue sports. It's like we go into, it's like the fall, we talking football. All right, cool. In the spring, we talking transfer portal. We talking recruitment. We talking legacy bowl. We talking football schedules. We already got SWAC schedules out for the football. Alabama State's giving Wednesday. JSU has dropped theirs. FAMU has dropped theirs. Alcorn, Southern, PV. We're talking that. We talk all this stuff. And then what's so sad about us What's so sad is we won't start talking about the other teams until we see that we're winning. Now, this is not every ASU alum. I can say I watched from the beginning. I watched from the absolute beginning. All the sports. Do I watch them all the time? No. But I also don't watch all the football games. That's just true. But as a collective, we are more prone to watch because we are used to putting out those championship teams. Winning does bring eyes. Now, that's the truth. But I can remember a bunch of folks that were at FAMU, they weren't paying attention at FAMU until a volleyball team started really picking up that speed and kicking ass. I said, wait a minute, we got a championship volleyball team. The same thing with softball at Jackson State. Now, I will say Jackson State's decent about sports outside of football. I gotta give them that. They are decent about watching the sports outside of football. But again, championships bring eyes. Jackson State watches the non-rel sports because championships bring eyes. Bethune-Cookman, they watch, like, y'all be so concerned about what Bethune-Cookman does in the fall. They got a dangerous baseball team. Dangerous. So I understand that championships and winning bring eyes, but we can drive it to the point where we have more revenue if we start supporting those sports like that. And I think that this flag football is going to be something that's amazing. I want the NCAA to go ahead and sanction it so that, we can get some championships going. But I also love the fact that these athletes are just able to go out there and play the game. Y'all, we're going to take our second commercial break. When we come back, Southern Heritage Classic. What you gonna do now? What you gonna do now? Sit in the corner with Nick Eden.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is Taxes. File free in the app by 2/18 when you switch to TurboTax Do It Yourself.
From now on, it's all about us. Starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're going to make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with Hope.
So I trust everyone's read the prospectus.
Mm-hmm.
Lance? Why don't you take us through it?
Let's get into the prospectus.
Okay.
The hour. Of course, this daggone train comes. You remember my cousin Vinny? When it's like that. You know what? It's fine. This is the perfect time for another word from our IPSO sponsor, School.
Welcome to School.com, the all-in-one platform for creators and educators to grow communities and deliver courses effortlessly. With school, you can combine learning, engagement, and progress tracking in one simple space. No more juggling tools, just focus on teaching and connecting. Ready to start? Scan the QR code to unlock special perks and join thousands already thriving with school.
Bro, you kidding me, man? Like this is insane. All right, y'all. This is a combination. I'll tell you right now. It looks like from now till probably about August, Tennessee State is going to be the school to watch for a myriad of reasons. My goodness. And as a part of his initiative to kind of root out any bad deals, which I said this could be this could be the blessing of them restructuring at Tennessee State. Interim President Dwayne Tucker, who I've talked about this on several occasions, Interim President Dwayne Tucker confirms that the school is no longer a part of the Southern Heritage Classic despite the $400,000 proposal. This comes to us from Action News 5. The interim president of Tennessee State has confirmed that the university will no longer participate in the Southern Heritage Classic. In a meeting in Memphis with alumni, TSU interim president Dwayne Tucker shared the university was not offered enough money from the promoter to accept a new contract. I think most people understand that TSU has some financial issues, Tucker told Action News 5, that we need to walk and correct ourselves. So to play an event where it's financially not in our best interest, the fee is being proposed, it's just not a good financial return for Tennessee State. But we'd love to come back. The Southern Heritage Classic, presented by FedEx, is an annual college football game between HBCUs held in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Tennessee State played in every matchup since the series began in 1990. Fred Jones, who I'm gonna break him apart in just a second. Fred Jones, founder and promoter of the Southern Heritage Classic, shared an email Sunday night that he sent to the university on January 17th, offering this university $400,000 yearly for the next 5 years. $300,000 of the yearly pay will go into the football team and the marching band, with the remaining $100,000 going towards expenses. The email said to respond by January 27th, but Jones said he never got a formal response from the university. So yeah, let's break this down real quick. First, I remember a certain coach who said that Jackson State was not benefiting from participating in this game. Said it wasn't enough money. And I remember he had a lot of criticism for that. And for me, the Southern Heritage Classic, more specifically, Fred Jones, has been doing bad business for so long, allegedly. What else can you expect? Now, we are clear. Fred Jones has the game rights, the name rights of the Southern Heritage Classic, and the media streaming rights. Now at peak, you had Eddie George across the aisle from Deion Sanders. This is just an example of how bad this business is. You had the opportunity with the media streaming rights to cut a standalone deal with ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. Okay, maybe they don't want to get into it. All right, cool. Well, let's go to the people who are interested in football and they don't have a marquee game to play on their networks. BET, Paramount, period. You can put it on Paramount Plus, but BET, TV One, Apple, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Tubi. People are like, oh, no, not Tubi. You want to know how Tubi is in the business of, you want to know how Tubi is in the business of especially if Deion Sanders at the time. Do y'all know that Deion Sanders has a show that's on Tubi? It's daily or weekly, one of the two. HBCU go. I would have cut a check. HBCU Plus. There was almost 1 million people watching the Florida Beach Bowl the first year. Actually, I think it went past 1 million. So what does Fred Jones do? He puts the game on the Southern Heritage Classics YouTube channel. This was in 2023. He puts the game on the Southern Heritage Classics YouTube channel, a non-monetized channel. You got Tennessee State with Eddie George at the helm, and Jackson State with Deion Sanders at the helm. What was the attendance that year? Let's look it up. With 32,518 people in the building, and you put it on YouTube. Now, people can say what they want to about the Swag Digital Network. You know, it's a YouTube channel. Guess what? It's monetized. It might not have been the biggest check, but it was a check. You talk about the economic impact. Let's look that up. So that was the big thing when. No, this was 2022. I'm sorry. It wasn't 2023. 2022 was against 2023 was against UAPB. I can't even remember whether that game was streamed or not. In 2022, my God, I feel like it's gonna be a hell of a lot bigger. In 2022, streaming on YouTube, Deion Sanders, Eddie George, Jackson State, Tennessee State, 51,351 people in the stadium, and you broadcast it on a non-monetized YouTube channel when you had the exclusive streaming rights. But you talk about what you can't afford. Well, let's talk about that as soon as we come back from this commercial break, because I got a little bit more for them. I got a little bit more.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gift.
We had to get you something.
Thank you, honey.
I got you this.
Did you do this yourself?
Yeah, I had a great teacher.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
This is from me to you.
I am genius.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
Wow. Hey, Jay, this project might need a bit of zhuzhing. Holla back, Warren.
Please let me know your thoughts. Best regards, Warren.
I
right, y'all, 41 minutes after the hour. I'm gonna go ahead and share this because I don't want anybody to think that I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass. This is from Southern Heritage Classics website, which is still saying September 11th through 13th, 2025. It's got Tennessee State up there, and it's got UAPB. I don't know if UAPB is signed on yet. I haven't looked at their schedule. I will check. But I want to highlight right here where it says the Classic also has an economic impact on Memphis, where these competing teams play annually. It generates $21 million for the local Memphis economy. Y'all see that? Now, so here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is if you're offering Tennessee, let's say you're doing equal footing for both schools, you're offering both schools $400,000. How much you making off of this, man? You don't know that he's business savvy. I would hope that he's business savvy enough to have enough side deals with all these people where he's getting a piece of that $21 million influx to Memphis. 400,000? 400,000. What's the upgrade? It was 300,000. I know some folks are like, man, look, it's just Nashville to Memphis. Okay. It's cheaper for them to take that weekend off. That week. It is cheaper. Think about it like this. It is cheaper for Tennessee State to take the weekend off than to go make 400,000 at the Southern Heritage Classic. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. Y'all saw I gave you the incorrect number earlier. I gave you the wrong year earlier. I gave you the UAPB number. It was 32,000 in attendance in 2023. In 2022, it's 20,000. That's a 20,000 person dip in 1 year. Thank you. It was 350. That's right. It was 350 because if I'm not mistaken, Deion Sanders said they ended up spending like 330. And so you essentially went and played a game for 20 stacks. And listen, and like this year it's supposed to be broadcast on Fox Sports South. That's fine. I mean, that's cool. But what I'm trying to get folks to understand is this was going to happen. Now, I've talked before about how I've had the pleasure on a few occasions of meeting Dr. Glenda Glover. I think she's an absolutely wonderful woman. I do. I think she's an absolutely wonderful woman. And I think that she has a dedication to the city of Memphis that I think may have had her just kind of overlook how bad that deal really was. Which makes this 400,000 even more of an insult because like I'm only gonna give you 51,000 more. I mean 50,000 more. Now, if it were me, we talked about this on HBCU Nightly last night, about Tennessee State, and I'm looking and I'm like, well, shoot, we got a bye weekend that weekend. Jackson State got a bye weekend that weekend. Yeah. Y'all added 12 because Jackson State's only playing 11 games this year. You add a 12th game. Come on up to Nashville. Let's blow out Nashville. We're going to pay y'all. Come on up to Nashville. Let's blow out Nashville. Let's do a home and home. Let's do it for 2 years and see how it works. And if it don't work, we ain't got to play each other anymore. But let's see how it works. Because, yeah, they don't do TSU alums. And be careful how I say this. Tennessee State alums travel to other schools that they're excited about a lot better than they come to their home games. Because they were in DC, they were outside. They were outside. But Tennessee State alums have been telling this school for the last some odd years, this is what we want to come and support. You're not giving us that. When you give us that, we'll come and support it. But you can't expect us to come and see a game we don't want to see. Whether I agree with that or not, that's what they're telling you. So y'all got a free weekend the same weekend. That's all I'm saying. Y'all have a free weekend the same weekend. If I don't know the AD at Tennessee State, I'm trying to get Ashley Robinson on the phone, like, hey, Brother Robinson, you got a date on September 11th? Come on up to Nashville. What can we do to make this deal work? What can we do to make this deal happen? Come on up to Nashville and do a home and home this year and next year and just see how it works. Now, in terms of Fred Jones and the Southern Heritage Classic, hey, look, man, it is what it is. I'll tell you right now, you ain't gonna pack out a damn thing with UAPB being the marquee group. And that's no shot at UAPB, but you got to be real about these things. And I would go as far as to say, even at the way that I believe that with the potential for us to travel, you couldn't pack it out with Alabama State and UAPB. You couldn't. You couldn't pack it out with Alcorn and UAPB. You can't pack it out with Tennessee State and UAPB. So this is not a shot at UAPB. What I'm telling you is it's the same thing I said on From the Hill podcast a couple of years ago when it came to the restructuring of the Magic City Classic contract. I'm like, the schools have the leverage because I'm telling you, in the case of the Magic City Classic, no other two schools in the state of Alabama could pull off the Magic City Classic. Want to know how I know? Because the only other two schools that could pull it off to that magnitude was Alabama and Auburn when it was the Iron Bowl at Legion Field, and they left. They left. No two schools in Alabama could pull off the Magic City Classic, but Alabama State and Alabama A&M. Proof is in the pudding. So going with your collective bargaining power. No two schools, hey, ain't nobody else pulling off Southern Heritage Classic but Tennessee State and Jackson State. Y'all got the bargaining power. You'll need to be putting up a meal each. And you better get your ass out there and sell some advertising. Hey, that's all I'm saying. All these folks who are these savvy business people, make your work known. So that's all I got to say about that. We'll see who's going to be in there, but for right now, it is time. My goodness, it is time. It is time for our fam topics. What's going on, y'all? Listen, this is my absolute favorite part of the show. This is our fam topics. This is the portion of the show where your comments and questions are read. And if you want to get your comments and questions on fam topics, it's really simple. Head on over to my socials, at Nick Eden on Twitter, at Nick Eden on Fanbase, at Nick Eden on IG. Click the link tree in the bio and go ahead and submit your questions and comments anonymously. Let's go to our first one. Thoughts on the SWAC preseason poll for softball? You know what? I actually got it. We're going to start with softball, the West Division. They got Prairie View coming in at number 1, followed by Texas Southern, Grambling, UAPB, and Alcorn. Listen, I don't know how this is wrong. I've had the pleasure of seeing Prairie View play in person on a couple of occasions. And yeah, I think especially coming out of last year's tournament, they are definitely a favorite, and they're definitely the favorite in the West to take it home. And I mean it, and I'm not being funny when I say this. Unless there's been some heavy recruiting going on in the offseason, I don't see how that's going to change. It's not even going to be close. In the East is always a little bit more competitive. But they got Jackson State coming in at number 1, followed by FAMU, followed by Bethune-Cookman, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, and Mississippi Valley State. Again, the only thing I would say, that top 4 is interchangeable. Now, I in the last 2 years, I think Jackson State has separated themselves just a little bit, but FAMU, if I'm not mistaken, FAMU is already a two-time SWAC softball regular season and tournament champs. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look at it again. Bethune-Cookman has always been in the hunt. Alabama State in the last 3 years, they did co-championships, I think 2 years in a row with FAMU, but then FAMU took the tournament. That top 4 is interchangeable, but I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this order as an objective fan. Obviously, as a Hornet, I want Alabama State to be higher up, but I'm not mad at this order finish. Now, let me go ahead and say this. Let me go ahead and say this real quick. It's funny, JSU, all of a sudden, because I see y'all retweeting this joint. It's real funny. Paris, let me go ahead. Paris, I'm so glad you're here. Let me tell you something. Like, we cannot wait. I am going to be, Paris, you got to let me know. Are you going to be in Jackson for homecoming? If you're going to be in Jackson for homecoming, give me a thumbs up. I am going to be in the building. Paris and I have never met in person. We only talked on Twitter and when in whatever chats that we're in. And Paris and I generally are on the same page about everything. Literally, everything we are on the same page about until we talk about JSU and ASU. It never fails. So I am looking forward, Paris. If you are going to be at homecoming, okay, perfect. If you're going to be there, I am so looking forward to meeting you. And let me say, and yes, JSU are defending champs. But let me say this real quick. It seems like y'all don't really like preseason polls unless y'all number 1. But I just was because y'all spent all the fall saying so these folks in these preseason picks. I got so many people messaging me for fam topics. See, this is why y'all don't need to have preseason picks. But now y'all cannot wait to retweet these preseason picks. But it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing how much we love preseason picks now. But it again, from an objective standpoint, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all at that order prediction of finish. I think that the West is going to be spot on. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for second, third, and fourth in the East. But and I hate to say this like this. I really do. Because I don't want it to seem like I'm dissing any of the West teams. That is generally the place that we find ourselves when it comes to the SWAC East. That top 3 at daggone near any sport, they got to be correct though, insane. That top 3 in the East is generally going to be across multiple sports, exchangeable between Jackson State, Alabama State, and FAMU. And depending on the sport, Bethune-Cookman's gonna come to I haven't seen if they put up the baseball ones yet, but I would not be surprised if preseason didn't have Bethune-Cookman coming in second, or maybe even first. Some people saying at first for baseball. But yes. So for softball, FAMU's coach did leave. And she came to Bama State. Anyway, messy work. So like grand opening, grand closing. All right, y'all, let's go for a second. Let's go for our second one. All right. HBC Nightly was diabolical last night. Yes, the term diabolical was created last night. Let's say shout out to the folks over at HBC Nightly. If y'all have not been tuned in, let me explain something to you. They much like me, because they try not to curse on the show. They try not to curse. Look, we got sponsors, y'all. We trying to be, we trying to be a little professional here. We trying to get those coins in. But yeah, Herb and Tandia got into it about University of Maryland Eastern Shore. It's one of the reasons that I love watching HBCU Nightly, because they do talk about schools that are not just, the SWAC and MEAC staples that we always talk about. They talk about them too. But I took the clip, and shout out to Jay Anderson for creating this clip. I snatched it so I could play it for the show. This was diabolical. Or
Oh God!
Have they ever won anything?
They've never won anything back.
I don't think they've ever won.
I don't mean no disrespect, Herb. I don't understand what you're trying to say. They ain't won shit.
What I'm trying to say is that for any coach,
I paid $5. They ain't won shit. I paid $10.
$10. God,
well, I mean,
you got kids watching.
I mean, to be quite honest,
because
look,
here's the thing.
Can I finish
That's
my
all
thought?
I'm saying.
Can I finish my spot without?
Go ahead. You gotta go, but you gotta go to it.
Shit.
Huh?
Can I finish my thought without somebody saying UMES ain't shit? That's all I.
They ain't.
But listen, we talking wins. We talking wins and losses, y'all. When somebody say, y'all know we talking. When somebody say to somebody, somebody says that a program ain't ish, we're talking about their productivity. I'm
just gonna say this.
I said ish, AJ. I said ish. I didn't say the F word.
I'm just gonna say this straight up.
How is that 250? I said ish.
There are plenty of talking a whole bunch of shit about a coach.
Y'all serious. All just
what would you do to change the program culture around?
I would move it to Division 2.
That ain't got
They
shit
don't belong in Division. They don't belong in
Dude,
Division 1. You don't go to uniform to give a program who has been historically awful an excuse, and the coach, who is a damn good coach, sitting up there coaching for his life, knowing damn well.
Stop cussing.
Regardless of whether that program is at Division 1 in a crappy ass place, Division 2 or Division 3 or NAIA, that still doesn't change the fact that you got to fucking hire. That you got to hire.
Yeah.
That you
not
gotta
the hard up. All right, I got to put a pause in this now. Y'all two are on two different sides of a debate.
And I'm trying to finish a thought.
Let's go! Keep going. Let's go. Hey, ODB, hold up.
This went here's the thing. That was a 2-minute and 16-second clip. This thing went on for at least like 40 minutes to an hour. Like, I got a text like, yo, are you watching HBCU Nightly? They are going in. And I'm like, it kept going. And of course, I'm being messy. I'm egging it on in the comments. Paris, you were egging it on in the comments. Jay, Lennon, everybody was egging it on in the comments. Listen, HBCU Nightly, the chat is probably one of the funniest that I've just been a part of, and that was that. So yes, during that time, the term diabolical for Tandia was created, and I think it is so apropos. But shout out to HBCU Nightly, y'all. Please don't forget Sundays at 7:30, if I'm not mistaken, on the HBCU Nightly Network. You can head to hbcunightly.com. Join. They got over 50,000 members and hbcunightly.com. And yeah, it was definitely messy, but it was hilarious. All right, what else we got? It's getting ridiculous to keep up with all these different streaming services just to watch these games. I agree. Like for all of this, and listen, I'm not trying to cook ESPN on this, but for us to put all of this and all this wherewithal and all these games into ESPN and HBCU Go, and I will say this much. You see, the problem when it comes to HBCU Go is a capacity issue, right? One, y'all, the presentation, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me be honest with you. What it takes, and I know this now from now working on the back end production side of Urban Edge, what it takes to produce these games at mass, it takes a whole lot, because you got to think about it like this. We got the NBA Texas Legends for the NBA G League. We got the NAIA championship games, but really the bulk of it is coming from the HBC UAC. And when I tell you, I got so many group chats right now. And shout out to Randall, shout out to Danny, shout out to Nicholas, shout out to Dr. Kiki Barnes. It's constant communication when these games are going to getting everything to setting up and streaming. It's constant. It is constant. So it's not easy to stream all of the games, right? It's not easy to stream all the games. I will say nobody has gotten it right 100% yet, because I love the production quality. Obviously, ESPN, we get it. ESPN just is what it is. When it comes to HBCU Go, I love the production quality of the games. I do. I love the production quality of HBCU Go's games. It is a pleasure to watch. It truly is. Here's the deal. When I'm looking at the games on Urban Edge Network, and I'm being transparent. And I've had this talk with the folks at UEN. We utilize Huddle to stream our games, which is good. I'm not gonna say it's always great. It's good. As Dave Chappelle said, it's like having an above ground pool. But what I do know is, and I'm not saying this as a pitch for Urban Edge Network, because I do recognize some might look at it as, oh, Nick, you just came for the network that you work for. You can say that if you want to, that's fine. But what I do know is all of their games can be seen for free, and the schools get a check because it's a revenue share model. All of their games can be seen for free. Softball, baseball, basketball, volleyball, bowling. All of their games can be seen for free, and they get a check for it. A bigger check than they would. And those of you who are YouTube creators, y'all know I'm telling the truth. The YouTube checks don't hit like they used to. I've been a YouTube partner since 2007. I'm telling you, and I've been monetized and demonetized. I built my channel. I started my channel from scratch, built it, lost a bunch of subscribers when I changed my format. I built channels for other people that I still maintain. I'm telling you, those checks from YouTube do not hit. Especially like pandemic was key. The CPM during the pandemic, oh my gosh. Oh, it was nasty. It was nasty. It was absolutely nasty. But it just ain't hitting like that anymore. So call it me caping for UEN, that's fine. But I'm telling you, not many other people are getting a deal like that. Where all the games are given, because you can't see almost any game on ESPN. There's no reason for me to even have ESPN Plus anymore, because you can't see any of the games. And HBCU Go, the problem with HBCU Go is it's a capacity issue, because you've got now, I love the fact that it's free, but what you've got is you've got 4 conferences and a weekend worth of games to push. And basketball is going to bleed over track and field. It's going to bleed over softball. It's going to bleed over baseball, which means even less that you're going to get to watch. So all I'm saying is, yeah, it's a lot. Listen, I've got Sports Network. I just went ahead and I paid the $100 to get it up until I think I got it until August or something like that. Cool. I'm probably not gonna get ESPN Plus in the fall. I'm just probably not. Because I'll more than likely the games that are gonna be broadcasted at, I'm actually gonna be traveling to, so there's really no reason. I can use that $10 somewhere else. But I do understand why somebody who is a true fan, right? Like it's one thing if you just watch your alma mater. But even if you just watch your alma mater, you're gonna be still watching between 3 and 4 networks because not everything is broadcast through your school streaming service. So it can get a little daunting, and at this point, you're damn near paying for cable again. So I want to see something, but Paris, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I want quality content to watch all the games for free. I understand that. I do. Which is why when I talk to my friends who are alums of Tougaloo and Dillard and Talladega, they're all like, "Oh, we good. Like, yeah, you got that issue with y'all. So I see all my games." My niece is at Tougaloo right now. She's like, "I can see all the games I want to see. I ain't gotta leave." I'm like, "You should still go." She's like, "No, I'm talking about like the away games." Okay. I mean, what can I say? Yeah, I'm just not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for them to shortchange us on the deals. I'm not gonna do that for them to shortchange us on the deals. And then when you think like, okay, it'll be on ESPN Plus, now it's on ESPN 30, and if you're paying for the streaming service, you can't even see it. Now I'm paying $10 now at this point $12 a month for something that I can no longer see. It's insane. All right, what's the latest one? We're gonna get out of here. We're running over. Do we have to do another string of videos of people denouncing their orgs? Listen, I'm telling you something right now, and I mean this. I don't know what the vitriolic response is for whatever reason when it comes to Black Greek letter organizations. It elicits. Yeah, it's got to be. I agree, Paris. The schools it has to be more uniform. The schools across the board have got to step it up. And even if, like, I'm not being funny, I'm gonna get to the dinner. Let me just say that with the announcement real quick, and then we're gonna end talking because I want to bring Paris's comment back up. What's going on, Sonic Boom? Listen, because not everybody's in a Greek letter organization. Um, just don't pay attention to them. A lot of people are denouncing for real reasons, and that's their business. There are some people who are clout chasing, and it just is what it is. All I can say is, bro, you came in with discretion, leave with discretion. Or if nothing else, don't call me a demon because I'm still a member of my fraternity. You know what I mean? So like that just kind of is what it is. But I want to say this because I want to end on this note because I think this is a rallying cry to all of our schools because I think that Paris is spot on. Paying for all these different schools, production, and it's trash. There is some trash production out there. Let's be real. When it comes to the school, historically, when it comes to the school streaming their own content, Valley was the best. I enjoy Valley's production and their streams more than anybody else. There's got to be some uniformity. There's got to be some uniformity. I had this discussion. This is a couple years ago. I'm sitting there, and this is before we started Hornet Sports Network. And it was one of the games that was not broadcast on any of the rights deals. I can't even remember who we were playing, but it was Bama State. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the game. It's playing on the YouTube channel. It's muted. There's no commentary. There's no lower third. I'm just like, bro, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? There's got to be listen, if we're gonna say, all right, look, we're gonna take the huddle route because we gotta save some money, we gotta save some this, we gotta say to do that, but everybody's got to be on the same page, and you cannot be charging people $15, $16 a month for some trash ass productions. You really shouldn't even be charging people $5 a month for some trash ass production. You just shouldn't. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't. What I'm saying is, let's get some uniformity. Also, these schools have a school of communications. And I'm telling you right now, if you look on YouTube, if you look on TikTok, then what you will see is in a lot of cases, These students are putting out better content than the official content coming from the school. So why not partner with these students for more elective credits or cut them a check, a stipend? There's no reason that a student should be walking across the stage with a degree in communications and they have not produced one or several games for their school. Like we got to do something different, and we got to utilize the resources that we have. The students are the resource because they're at the forefront of this. They're at the forefront of this. And then why are we not looking? Don't even get me on the replays. Don't even get me on the replays. By the time they play the replays in some of these games, I'm like, like, bro, telling y'all. So all I'm saying is we got to step it up because what we cannot keep doing is we can't keep saying, oh, we need better media rights, and we can't even produce on our own. Right now, like I may do this. I want y'all to hold me to this. I want y'all to hold me to this. There is a multicam system that the entire system costs about roughly about $1,600. But it's a multicam system that I think will enhance the volleyball games at our schools to the next level. And I am going to commit $1,600. Hold me to this. The only way this don't happen is if they say no. And if they say no, I'll take it to another school. But I'm going to, it's a multi-camera, it's a 3-camera streaming system that I think will do a world of difference. I am going to commit to a $1,600 multi-cam streaming system to Alabama State's volleyball team. I'm going to give that to the volleyball team for the fall. And I just want to see the difference. I'm serious. I'm serious on this. Because, I mean, I think we do have to be at the point where we got to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I can't just sit up here on the show every day and 5 days a week criticize without offering solutions. I'm going to offer that solution, and I'm going to do it because I just want to see it. And let the students run it. Let the students run it. Okay, prime example. All right, sign. The problem is the schools need to upgrade. I asked years to JSU if we can donate towards football and basketball production. I was basically told we don't control it. Now, I'm gonna say this much. You want to talk about an upgrade? When the HBCU AC, the HBCU Athletic Conference, then known as the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference, cut its deal with Urban Edge Network. As a part of the deal, there were two other things that Urban Edge Network did in order to get consistency across the games and enhance the revenue opportunities for the schools. All the schools got set up with the latest huddle equipment, and they all had the LED boards. That upgraded to everybody, right? And that was done for a reason because it brought consistency to the games. So even though the gym looks different, if you're watching Talladega, I don't care if you're watching Talladega, Tougaloo, Russ, or Dillard, you're going to see consistency in how the game is produced, and there's rev opportunities for them there. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Somebody's got to take the opportunity to do that. To do that. I just think at this point, we can't keep talking about our worth, what our worth is if we're not putting our all into the production. I can tell you right now, it's because I can tell you exactly where I have to look. I want to say it's in Vado. Because everybody was just beaming over Valley's production, right? Most of Valley's stuff that they were using for their production was templates. I have some of those same templates on my computer right now. It's just somebody had the common sense to say, hey, we want this to look a little different. We want this to look professional. We want this to look like a football production, and you see the difference, which is why everybody was like, yo, Valley, y'all did that. Do y'all thing, Valley. Y'all did that. So anyway, listen, I want to thank everybody who took an hour plus out of their day. I know I went way over. Who took an hour plus out of their day to tune in to In the Quad with Nick Eden. Y'all, I will be back tomorrow. We are doing our Tuesday top 10. Don't forget, there's still some time. Y'all have some hilarious. I'm not even going to get into, I can't wait to tell y'all about the state. But tomorrow's Tuesday top 10 struggle meals you made at your HBCU. Y'all have some amazing, amazing suggestions. Some stuff that realistically, I'm like, yo, I'm going to go to the dollar store and just at least try this. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody watching on the UEN app, on HBCU Plus, the YouTube channel as well as the Twitter channel. And I will see you all, Twitter page. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place.